Welcome to the Philadelphia Sports Table Podcast Show, the longest running weekly Philly sports podcast show in the world, just about 13 years strong. A couple more weeks, we'll be commemorating 13 years here at the PST Podcast Show. I'm Jeff Warren, here with my buddy Len Hunsicker. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Hopefully everybody's having a good week out there.
Hope you're having a good week. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you're on YouTube, hi. Nice to see you. If you're listening on an audio podcast platform, it's great to be in your ears. Some of you out there have been with us for just about 13 years here at this point, and some of you, if you're new to listening to the show, hope you enjoy the content. You can certainly share the Philadelphia Sports Table Podcast Show with your friends and family who are not just Philly sports fans, but sports fans in general. This week on the show, we're going to be diving into some March Madness talk. I know we haven't gotten into the NCAA men's or women's basketball brackets too much at all, but it's been a pretty interesting March Madness this year for sure, especially with UConn defeating Duke, that upset. And I just want to talk about how we think the tournament has gone. From there, we're going to be getting into some Flyers talk. Porter Martone is now in the Flyers after foregoing the rest of his college career. What might he be able to give this team down the stretch? Then we're going to get into some Phillies talk. Boy, bit of a rough start to the season. And yes, they have won past two games against the Washington Nationals, but still, we're going to get into the start of this Phillies season. And then what we're throwing down on the table this week, we've got our friend, president and CEO of the Lehigh Valley IronPigs, Kurt Landis. He's going to be jumping on to talk about the AAA team and what they have in store for this 2026 season. So, Len, buddy, I know you got to go to bed soon and you got to be up in a few hours. So let's just get right into it, huh? How about
Alrighty.
that? Yeah, good. All right. Thoughts on March Madness this year? I got to be honest with you. And I think I've told you this before, Len. I've talked to Eric as well about the fact that college basketball just hasn't necessarily been that much of an interest to me over these, I'd say, honestly, the past like 4 or 5 years. Just because the product has changed so much. But I have to tell you that I really have enjoyed the brackets that we did, our group of friends, and following not only that, but following some of these games. And it wasn't just UConn upsetting Duke, you know, as awesome as a game that actually was. The tournament in itself averaged 10.3 million viewers, the best since 1993. Believe it or not. Yeah, Elite Eight games were nearing close to 19 million peak viewers. And, I mean, a tremendous increase, I think, in every round since last year. And, of course, the power conferences, they absolutely dominated. They were favorites. You know, they went 39-9 in the early rounds. You know, there were certainly a few upsets, but I think that there was just a lot more excitement this year, at least for me, watching these games. There were a lot of close games. There were some games that weren't too close either. And I also enjoyed watching some of the women's March Madness as well. I got to tell you, I mean, the shot of the tournament, Duke's spinning buzzer beater, Ashlyn Jackson delivering an iconic moment in the women's tournament. I don't know, man. This year just felt a little different for me. You know, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, with regard to the women, it is kind of interesting because it's I think it's the same 4 teams as last year's Final Four. And also this time around, all of them happen to be number 1 seed. So, you know, the inclination there is to be like, oh, chalk, all number 1 seeds, how boring. But I don't know. I think if you looked into that going into the tournament, it's like, okay, these 4 teams are clearly ahead of everybody else. And I think there is a more of a okay, these are the definite favorites in the women's game right now versus with the men's, it's maybe a little bit more open than I think the women's. I think the women's, there are those strong, clear few front runner teams. Whereas with the men's, it's like it just seems like there's more of a chance of somebody, you know, there's more, I think, varied of teams that could potentially win it than there is on the women's side.
Exactly. There's more of a dynasty era, you know, that's continuing with women's basketball. I like to see it because I think it makes for a good product at the end of the day.
Yeah, and especially in a sport where you're trying, and you know, women's basketball has been around forever, and you know, they've had stars and they've had, but you know, in something like that where you're trying to grow the product, it definitely helps in terms of having big names and having continuity. And
Yeah.
you've had that over the years, whether that's Pat Summit in Tennessee
Yep.
or Gino Wariyama in UConn going into the current day, and now Dawn Staley in South Carolina. You have those powerhouse teams with those figurehead coaches that are instantly recognizable, and I think that helps to just keep the product as like something that okay, we know these people. I'm not tuning in and going, oh, who the hell is this? I think it helps in that regard.
Talking about the men's March Madness and bracket as well, you had Michigan powering through the bracket, including that decisive Elite Eight victory to reach the Final Four. Illinois, high-powered offense, advancing pretty deep as well. Arizona against Purdue. That was a pretty thrilling game.
Yeah.
Just multiple close finishes late in regulation with many games. And I don't know, man. College basketball might be getting me back, at least from the men's standpoint. I enjoy watching women's basketball in general. I don't know, man. I think the guys may have me back.
And it's funny because I see that logo behind you sitting over your left shoulder there.
Yep.
They're not going to be anywhere close. But this men's tournament has
Yeah.
been a testament to the strength of the Big Ten in men's basketball.
Yeah.
4 of the Elite Eight teams came out of the Big Ten. Now 2 of the Final 4 in Illinois and Michigan. And Michigan, man, I hate to say it because I'll never root for Michigan, but that front line, they look really strong. They look like they're going to be really tough to beat. So I think if you're a fan of Big Ten basketball in general, I think you've really been encouraged by what you've seen in this tournament, because I think the Big Ten has certainly shown out.
Absolutely. If you're watching on YouTube, leave us a comment below. We'd love to hear from you. What'd you think about the men's March Madness tournament and bracket? What'd you think about the women's March Madness tournament and bracket as well? Again, we'd love to hear from you. If you're watching on YouTube, leave us a comment below. We'd just love to get your opinions for sure. So as we're moving along here with the show, Len, we got to talk about the Philadelphia Flyers. And we had our good friend of the show, Kelly Hinkle, on this past week on the Table Talk interview show, where we got into this team, my gosh, what they should or shouldn't be doing. And man, Kelly was just so optimistic. I loved it because, she at times isn't the most optimistic human being out there, but man, she was absolutely optimistic about the team.
With regard to the Flyers, let's face it, they've definitely not given their fan base much to be optimistic about over the past. I mean, it's been, I think if they don't make it this year, I think their drought is now at 5 years without being in the playoffs. So I mean, that's I saw a list of these teams could be the next Buffalo Sabres, meaning a 10 plus year drought out of the playoffs, and the Flyers were number 2 on that list with 5 years, only behind Detroit, who's at like 9 years. But you're in that territory right now with how things are going. So
absolutely,
it's been a rough go, and we've had that back and forth of like, should they continue to tank or okay, we're going to go for it. And it clearly the organization has said we're going to go for it. I just keep having this thing in my head. I know everybody wants to make the playoffs, but I feel it in my bones. This team is going to be one of the 2 last teams that doesn't make the playoffs, and they're going to be drafting like 15th or something like that. And it's just like, okay, we're going to get another third liner, okay, another bottom 6 guy. Like I just I don't know. I feel like they're just not putting themselves in position to get elite talent. And I know we're going to segue into an elite talent right here, or who we hope will be an elite talent. So go ahead.
Well, Porter Martone now on the Flyers. We've seen him on the ice. And look, I give him all the credit in the world. Fine decision, in my opinion, foregoing the rest of his college career. He wants to be playing at the NHL level. He wants to see what he's going to be able to do for this team. Us fans want to see what he can do for this team, what he might give them during this final stretch of the season. And, Kelly and I talked about it. The expectation shouldn't, of course, be high. He's going to have to, I mean, I should say there's no way he's going to come in and be an absolute dominant force. But
Yeah, no.
what he can give the team is a spark. And that's what this team actually does need. There are times during his first appearance on the ice where, I mean, he was getting schooled out there a bit at times.
But that's to be expected.
Absolutely. Rightfully so. I mean, he's not going to come in and be some sort of a perfect hockey player. So I'm going to be so interested to see how he handles himself and, the good. I'm going to concentrate on the good when it comes to Porter Martone. He's going to make mistakes. It's going to happen every single game. It's going to be fine, folks. I'm going to concentrate on the positives with him during this final stretch.
Yeah, it'll be interesting just to see how he handles himself in this little stretch of games and how he reacts to certain situations. Like you said, the mistakes are going to be there 100%. But can I see a flash of the power forward that he is supposed to be, a flash of the guy that maybe gets underneath your skin a little bit? I've heard him. I think a comparison, it might have been Danny Briere that made it, was Corey Perry, who was a very, I think he won a Hart Trophy, really good player for many years, but he can play that power forward game, and he's got that pest in him too that can get underneath your skin. Maybe he can do that and bring a little bit of that to the Flyers, because I do think they tend to need it. He's got the big frame, so it'll be interesting to see over these next couple games if he maybe he gets in somebody's face, maybe and can he have the scoring touch a little bit here. It's hard to expect much because and I think you mentioned maybe Kelly mentioned it because I saw the bit of your conversation. He's in there with guys he's never played with, for a coach he's never played for. So, yeah, I mean, you have to hold your expectations, but just give me something to dream on for next year at this point. That's all. And, once you've got a full camp with these guys and, okay, you're a little bit more comfortable and then you can hit the ground running. But for right now, just give me something to dream on. Really. That's all I ask. Yeah.
And that's what I was saying. I just want to focus on the optimistic aspects of who he is, what he can be. You see flashes here and there. We just want some fun with the Flyers, at the end of the day.
That's not too much to ask.
Yes, at this point in time. Exactly. It's not too much to ask at all. So, all right, folks, we're going to take a break here. When we get back, got a lot of baseball talk. We're going to get into the Philadelphia Phillies because this team got off, to a great opening day, but then a rough start, and we're gonna get into it. But let's take a break here, and make sure you go over to PhiladelphiaSportsTable.com. You can check out all of our podcasts over there, and we'll take a break in the meantime. We'll be back in just a bit. All right, we are back. Let's get into this Philadelphia Phillies team as they have held now, 2 series, Rangers, Nationals. Holy cow, man. It is up and down. Opening day, fantastic. Good stuff happening against the Rangers. And then all of a sudden, the Bats just forgot how to hit balls. They just were not getting any power. They were just to the point where bases loaded. I read a stat today. I think it was from our friend Jeff Kerr. 0 for 6 with bases loaded thus far as of today, as of us recording this on April 1st. And no, that's not an April Fool's joke, Len. The team is rough right now, just in terms of the bats. And we're gonna get to Andrew Painter, of course, folks, and what he was able to do from the mound. But again, issues with batting, runners in scoring position. We're seeing that. It's early in the season. Nobody should be panicking by any stretch, but it was and continues to be at times frustrating throughout these games.
Yeah, and especially and they are after the win in extra innings against the Nats today. They pulled even to 500, so they're 3-3. It's not like we're talking about a 1-5 team here, but yeah, when you talk about the things that you're worried about, it is the lineup at this point in time. You look at the big names on this team. Turner hitting 192 after today's game. Schwarber hitting 182. Harper 120. Both Turner and Harper have an OPS under 500. Bohm hitting 095 with an OPS just over 500. So, these are the guys that you're expecting to lead. and instead the offense is being led by Adolis Garcia and which
Justin Crawford.
and Crawford, Justin Crawford. So
Yes.
I mean, Crawford's hitting 412, OPS of 915. That's I don't think it's sustainable for a rookie, but it's nice to see off the bat. So hopefully the established guys, the stars, the guys who let's face it, in Harper and Schwarber, you've got two guys that have been playing competitive baseball due to the World Baseball Classic. They have been doing that for a little bit. So they should be maybe a little bit more in the swing of things, I would think, being in those high leverage situations. But hopefully, I know that Harper had a home run today. Hopefully that starts to get him going because he's been very disappointing to start off the year.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I want to get your opinion on something because I could say, and I know you're not on Twitter X anymore. Bless your soul for that. But there are folks who are like friends of the pod who genuinely were saying, I'm not kidding, after the third game of the season, well, when's Rob Thompson going to be fired? And it's like, I'm not even kidding. And I thought they really were serious, and I think they were. And I'm like, has the Phillies brain rot gotten to the point where this is the dialogue now? Is it really because people say that crap all the time throughout the course of the season? Team goes on a week-long losing streak or something. You get the dopes out there. Oh, you got to fire the skipper. Get him out of there. 3 games in, and people were saying that. And yes, it's a hot take world that we live in, but I just want to throw it out there and say some of the most ridiculous dialogue, and yes, it's social media. We see it all the time, but my gosh, Len, when will it end?
Never. It's never going to end because that's unfortunately, and I don't really think that's anything to do with the Phillies. That is unfortunately the world that we've cultivated for ourselves. Everything is now. You want instant gratification, and you're making a judgment on a season less. Okay, back then maybe that was a couple games ago. So less than 6 games into a season. If it's May and they're like 10-22, okay, by all means start having that conversation. Especially because you do have a guy in Mattingly who's the bench coach who has been a manager before. It would be nothing to slide him down a seat, into that lead role. I get it at that point. 6 games into a season when you're 3-3, again, you're not 1-5, you're not 0-6, let's relax a little bit. I mean, to me, I don't know. I feel like we're at a point where this needs to be on the players a little bit too. I know you can't fire the players, but the slow start, I think, the problem is we all have that residual from last year, and okay, the bats are always going to go cold because that's what they do. So when the big bats are cold to start the season, all that does is reignite that feeling. So, I think it's not surprising that people are like that, but I mean, you got to give it some time. I don't know.
3 games in.
But, that's the way it is here. I mean, didn't they have I think the day after the Eagles won the Super Bowl wasn't a thing of is Jalen Hurts an elite quarterback or something? It's like, when's it ever going to be good enough? If that's not good enough for people, if they're just winning the Super Bowl, you're having that conversation, then it's time to acknowledge it. It'll never be good enough for a good swath of people in this fan base. So yeah, I get it. It's not surprising, but just you do have to give it some time and let these guys break out of a funk that everybody's going to go through one at some point in the season. Like we said, Justin Crawford started off this season hotter than shit. That's not going to last. Pitchers are going to figure him out, and he's going to have a rough couple weeks at some point in the season, and maybe by that time Bohm and Harper, etc., will heat up. So. You can't drive yourself crazy with this kind of stuff.
You can't. But what we can do is we can talk about an extreme positive. Let's shift gears here. and talk about Andrew Painter, because I swear to God, Len, it's been in the back of my mind since we knew he would, when we knew he was going to be that fifth guy in the rotation, thinking in the back of my mind, all right, that very first start that he has, man, if he just completely craps the bed, this city and Phillies Nation are going to lose their ever fucking minds. And the fact that he was able to do what he did, 8 strikeouts. And it wasn't just the strikeouts, Len. The thing that really stood out to me that I wasn't necessarily expecting from this 22-year-old rookie was the poise.
Yeah.
Like nothing phased him. Walk, hit, an error, base runners, behind in the count. Absolutely nothing was rattling him. Along with that, his stuff was just electric. I mean, high 90s fastball. I mean, the 90-mile-per-hour slider, sweeping curve, just really fantastic command of his pitching arsenal. I mean, he had guys guessing, whiffing all night long.
Yeah.
And look, wasn't a perfect outing necessarily, no, but it's what you really wanted to see. I guess the only negative I can come up with is that he left his fastball up in the zone as he got into his pitch count a little bit, but even that led to a few strikeouts. So you can't really, I mean, it's an A+ debut for for this kid, and who knows if he may be the future ace on this team.
I mean, possible. I think he's going to have to, he's going to have to climb a hurdle in Christopher Sanchez if he wants to be the ace of this team, because Sanchez has looked every bit of a Cy Young favorite, so far. So, I think he scuffled maybe a little bit, in his last start, but that first start, he was excellent. I think that, that's if you can get him just doing what he does, if you can get Wheeler back and he hits the ground running, he's doing well. If Painter can keep up what he's doing, and then we haven't even talked about Luzardo, who is going to hopefully round into form, and then Aaron Nola, who's hopefully going to round into form. I mean, the rotation's got all the potential in the world. I mean, you worry about health because it's pitchers and, they get hurt. It's what they do, unfortunately. But I mean, if you look at this 5, potentially, I mean, it's hard not to get excited about that.
Yeah. It's really hard not to get excited about it, especially again with Andrew Painter. Like, man, I actually think he was the spark that was needed within the series against the Nationals here. I think he was the actual spark coming from a 22-year-old here. It's just kind of bizarre how the whole season has started out with, we have so much hope for Painter. We had so much hope for Justin Crawford. And these two guys are absolutely killing it right out of the gate. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good thing to see. It's a fun thing to see. And especially, we had talked about it previously for a fan base that is like, oh, okay, it's pretty much the same team coming back. The fact that the very new guys have, gotten off to a good start, and Adolis Garcia too, has gotten off to a good start as well. It maybe takes a little bit of that same old Phillies feeling away. Like, okay, there is new stuff here, and then the guys that are new are performing. This is exciting. I think that's, if it wasn't for those new additions and the way they perform so far, I think that we'd really be kind of down on this team right now.
Yeah. Oh boy, you said new addition. I wish I had some music.
not Bobby Brown or Belle Biv DeVoe or
I wish
Ralph
I had
Tresvant or any of the guys.
I wish I had something here. Boy, that was a terrible joke. Here, hold on for a second. Car right there.
There you go.
Oh, it's continuing to go. Okay, there we go. Let me stop that. And why don't I let you go here at this point? How does that sound? Yeah,
that sounds. I'm gonna get out of this car crash right now and go to bed.
There you go. It's pull back the curtain, folks. It's 9:00 at night on Sunday, and I just got home a little while ago. I'm starving. I have to eat some dinner. Did I just say Sunday?
Yeah,
I meant Wednesday. That's what I mean. I'm going crazy.
It's not even close to Sunday.
It's not. I'm going absolutely nuts here. Why don't we get going here?
Maybe you need to go to bed. Jesus.
I think I do. I need something.
Oh my God.
I really do. Well, we've got some Lehigh Valley IronPigs talk with Kurt Landis. They're doing some great stuff up in Lehigh Valley. He's going to be our interview this week. What we're throwing down on the table. So, buddy, I'll let you go. And yeah, I guess we'll see you at some point down the road here, right?
Yes, indeed.
Hopefully, if we're both not dead.
That's always a possibility.
Yes. All right, folks. We're going to take a break. When we get back, we've got some Lehigh Valley IronPigs talk. Stick with us. It's great to have with us now. Absolutely love talking to him. He is the CEO and president of the Lehigh Valley IronPigs, the AAA affiliate of the Philadelphia Phillies. He's up at Coca-Cola Park in the Lehigh Valley. Our good friend Kurt Landis. Everybody, thanks so much for joining us here.
Hi, Jeff. How are you?
I am doing very well. It's baseball season, man. I'm doing great.
Finally, baseball season and baseball weather, just as importantly.
Absolutely. As we're recording this, it's in the 70s, folks, here in the Lehigh Valley. It's incredible. We've got spring that is finally here, and again, it is baseball season. But to start the conversation out, Kurt, I have to get into something. Like I feel we live in a very special area here in the Lehigh Valley, which consists of Northampton County, Lehigh County, and there's so many wonderful things that are happening within our communities. And again, I gotta first talk about how Coca-Cola Park, where the IronPigs play, was named the best minor league baseball stadium in the United States by USA Today. So I just want to get your thoughts on this first. First and foremost, do you know how USA Today went about choosing their top ballparks in America? And can you talk about what it's meant to the organization and maybe what it's also meant to the players there at AAA?
Well, it's a huge recognition to be nominated. You know, I know the USA Today has a board of editors, field experts. They take a look annually at what makes sense to include in the nominations, and you only receive a nomination if you're in the top 10 or 15% in their estimation of ballparks in the country. And you look at our fan support, you look how we try to keep the experience new and unique and fresh and bold annually. And that's what earned us the nomination. And then once you're nominated, it's a vote from the readers. And, we certainly try to get the word out that, our fans, I think, feel very passionately about the job that we do. I think our employees, our partners, both public and private sector, appreciate the relationships we have. And at that point, you just kind of cross your fingers and hope for the best. And it's amazing. Our fans, year in and year out, want us to be successful. They have so much pride and passion in what we do at the ballpark. And it's a blessing, on behalf of our employees especially, but, like I said, our partners, our fans, it's a huge honor. And for us to be able to promote to our guests throughout the entire year ahead that we have the best ballpark. And Jeff, kind of what makes it so exciting too, you mentioned the entire region, is, Hotel Bethlehem is the best historic hotel. Downtown, Bethlehem, the best main street in the entire USA.
Yep.
And to know that Music Fest is the best free music festival across the entire country, and to have, basically the entire region, the number one mid-size community between 200,000 and 1 million inhabitants, to be number one for economic development. There are so many great things happening in the region. We feel this momentum happening with responsible development, with growth, and the region's really being respected for how great we are as a collective.
Absolutely. Because when you look at what the IronPigs have done and how you all have grown over the years, it's not just necessarily a family destination, but it's become a destination for bachelor parties, bachelorette parties. It's become a destination for folks in terms of business travel. It's not actually just for baseball fans. I mean, baseball fans are coming, of course. We see them. You all have the season tickets that you're selling to baseball fans, but it's become that much more of a destination area of the Lehigh Valley and Pennsylvania in general. So, I got to give it to you all for the amazing job that you do. But like we initially said, I mean, the season has started here for the Iron Pigs, and the team itself is off to a great start. And whenever a team is winning, certainly brings out the fans. So, can you take us through, Kurt, how the Iron Pigs really kicked off this 2026 season, and what these first games have really looked like for the fans in general?
Well, it's great. At the heart of who we are, it's baseball, but there's so much more, Jeff, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
If it's for people will say, hey, Kurt, I'm not really a baseball fan, and I'll say you're perfect. You're the target market, right? Do you like to have
right?
Do you like to be entertained? Do you like to be out with friends? Yes, yes, yes. And we're something for everybody. It's really something for all. Our target market, it doesn't matter if you're a child, a senior, family, business, social, neighbors. We really make the ballpark something for everybody. And if you just want to be outside with a cold beverage and a hot dog, for yourself, this is something. But we start off the season undefeated. We're in first place. The team is playing really well in the field. We are fortunate to host this guy named Zach Wheeler, who's
we're going to get to him in a bit. Yeah.
Yes, pitcher for the Phillies in the rotation, and he was here our second game. So it's great to have this Phillies connection. The team is undefeated. The environment, the enthusiasm for being the best ballpark. Our promotions are talked about in terms of within the industry. We're the talk of the town in terms of the volume of giveaways, the volume of fireworks. And then this year, we have so many good things to promote. I mean, we're also hosting so many special events. If it's Banana Ball that we've talked about before, if it's glow in the dark cosmic baseball, which is extremely popular, the Eagles celebrity softball game, and then we have some America 250 events such as Let Freedom Sing, which would be a chorus of 5,000 people in a community sing along here at the ballpark, or our Liberty Ignited, which is a huge drone and fireworks show, the biggest of its kind ever in the Valley here on July 3rd. So much to talk about and so little time.
Absolutely. Because look, you talked about the promotional aspect of what Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs do, and I have to ask you just about the incredible marketing that is done by your front office. You mentioned Zach Wheeler. He made his rehab assignment this week, and there was just an incredible, and dare I say, a bit of quirkiness that was really attached to it. It was the rehab ribs night in honor of Zach Wheeler. And it was just an incredible marketing promotion. I think it was actually picked up by the New York Times as well. How does something like this, Kurt, come to fruition? Who's involved in the process, and especially in such a quick period of time? So can you really kind of take us into this? Let's dive into it here.
Sure. Yeah, I think minor league baseball has a habit of picking up current pop culture idea and running with it. It doesn't take as much work or effort to go through the bureaucracy or red tape that perhaps a Major League Baseball team or a large company would have to do. And I think we have an environment, a culture here of the Iron Pigs. We're Iron Pigs. We didn't call ourselves something very generic like Bears or whatever might be the case.
Right.
And we came up with a moniker that is indicative of who we are and who we wanted to be, which is bold, unique, different. And our staff runs with that. So to be honest, Jeff, a couple of staff members had the idea, ran with it. They announced all-you-can-eat ribs at our Tiki Terrace for the Saturday that Zach Wheeler was here. And before I was even truly aware of it, we were off and running with a promotion. But then things kind of spiraled from there. And, our fans had fun with it. And I hope in the end that Zach had fun with it too. We didn't want to poke fun at his injury. But I think he was kind of having fun with it a week ago when he mentioned about, hey, he still had his rib in his closet. And so, our fans come to expect the goofy from us. And, our staff likes to have that name on their chest, that they can be
absolutely
unique and different and pivot as quickly as we need to.
Absolutely. It comes down to even the races in the middle of the game between Hambone and crispy bacon, are fun for the kids. It's fun for the fans. There's always something going on during the course of the games, between innings, and just even on the concourse as well. I mean, it's quite the experience, folks. So we are going to take a quick break, but Kurt, before we go to break, let everybody know where they can find the Iron Pigs online, where they can connect with folks on social media. I know folks would love to do that.
Sure. Well, online, you can find us at ironpigsbaseball.com. And of course, you can look up the Iron Pigs. We're on all the major social platforms. And in fact, we have the largest social following of any minor league baseball team. But between Facebook, Twitter, or X, I guess I should call it, and Instagram, even YouTube is very popular for us now, as well as TikTok. So you can find us anywhere there.
Fantastic. All right, folks, we're going to take a break. When we get back, we've got more AAA of Iron Pigs talk coming your way. All right, we are back. And again, we're talking to the president and CEO of the Lehigh Valley IronPigs up at Coca-Cola Park in the Lehigh Valley. And as we are moving along with the conversation here about who the IronPigs are, what they do for the community, and just what the experience is when you do go to Coca-Cola Park. When I've had you on in the past, Kurt, I've always liked to ask you about the awesome food at Coca-Cola Park. And it's a huge part of the experience. I know when I'm there with my family, it's a big part of the fun, and it's all part about going to the ballpark, going to a baseball game. So can you kind of take us through what are some of the newer foods at the ballpark this year that folks can really look forward to trying?
Sure. Well, first off, Jeff, before we talk about the new foods, I just found out right before opening day that we have the least expensive hot dog in all of minor league baseball and major league baseball. So we're priced at just a hair under $3 for a hot dog. And I'm shocked to find out that that's the cheapest hot dog in baseball. But
now don't go raising the price, my friend.
Well, no, we're proud of that. We're proud of that.
Yes,
we operate and own our own concessions. We don't use a third party. And
right.
That helps us keep our prices very, very affordable, especially compared to our brethren locally or nationally. So we're proud of that. New this year, we have a couple of skewers that are fantastic. We have a pork, bacon, pineapple teriyaki skewer. We have a grilled pork belly skewer. Now, all this pork makes me hungry as we talk.
I know.
We have a hot honey hot dog grilled cheese. That sounds as amazing as you might think it is.
Yes.
We have something simple as a pepperoni pizza roll. We've also added this year, mocktails are becoming very large. So we have a blue Hawaiian mocktail, a strawberry slider, and what we call the left fielder, which is a sour apple, coconut, pineapple juices with a splash of blue curacao with it. So a little bit of everything, but I'm most excited. We have a new alcoholic drink called the Dirty Hot Dog. You want to know what that is?
Let's do it. Tell the folks.
The Dirty Hot Dog is hot dog water flavor infused vodka combined with Dr. Pepper.
Oh my gosh.
So, you can take your life into your own hands if you want to try a dirty hot dog water at the ballpark this summer. But something for everybody. We talk about promotions and baseball and giveaways, but you're 100% right. This is what a lot of people forget, the largest restaurant in the Lehigh Valley. And
yes,
we have a lot of pride in that, and pride in the quality of the food and getting your hot food hot, your cold food cold, and all of it quickly. And basically for, up to 10,000 people in just an hour and a half. So it's a large undertaking that our food and beverage team does an amazing job with.
Yeah, they absolutely do. And look, Kurt, I wanted to ask you about something that, not a lot of people may understand. Hoping we can maybe get into the weeds on this, because after next year, 2027 season, it's going to be so weird for all of us who have been calling Coca-Cola Park. The naming rights are going to be changing for this particular ballpark, and naming rights are going to expire after next year. And I would imagine there's a lot of talk and a lot of negotiation that goes on behind the scenes to ensure that you all are going to have the best partner for the future. So I was wondering, can you kind of take us inside what happens when the IronPigs are seeking that next partner for the naming rights of the stadium. And feel free if you want to give us an update on anything that's going on as well. But I mean, I'd love to hear about the process and just how it all happens.
Is this where we announce it's going to be Jeff Warren Field?
Oh my gosh. I'd have a heart attack right here, right on camera.
Well, it's first off, it's with some sadness and some nostalgia. It's Coca-Cola has been a tremendous partner, and Coca-Cola Park has had so many accolades. We just talked about the best minor league ballpark in the country.
Yeah,
we've led all of minor league baseball in attendance the last 3 years in 9 out of the 18 total in our existence. It's hard to think about this place as something different than Coca-Cola Park, but yet, there's an opportunity there too, to find a partner who wants to continue where Coca-Cola left off, to provide some additional benefits and investment in the ballpark for our fans and our guests. And it's a process that we've had a lot of interest in, and we're blessed because of our success to have interest in the naming rights. But you want to find someone that's the absolute best fit for our community. It's the best fit that has a community mindedness, approach of innovation, an approach of collaboration. It's really allowed us the chance, knowing that the naming rights aren't going to expire with Coca-Cola until the end of 2027, Jeff, to find the right partner and not the fastest partner, and honestly, not even the partner that might spend the most money. I think I take this job as a steward of this team very seriously, because it's not just about wins and losses, or not just about dollars and cents. As a community franchise, you feel that you have to do the right thing for the community and its citizens, and the naming rights is a big part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, buddy, before I let you go, I wanted to just you talked about earlier some of the events that are going to be happening at Coca-Cola Park and what fans might be able to look forward to. I know it's kind of a general question, but it's an opportunity for you to get some of those promos out there. I mean, what can fans really look forward to at Coca-Cola Park in 2026? Aside from Banana Ball, aside from so many of the other promotions that you have. I mean, feel free to get some of that info out there.
Yeah, no, sure. I appreciate the opportunity, Jeff. So many of the individuals I work with across the country in the same job, they look at what we do and they go, how do you guys do that? Because we have 35 giveaway nights, which doesn't seem like a lot, but we're usually doing 2,000 or 3,000 items per night, where other teams are giving out 500 or 1,000 items. So
yeah,
to have all these different giveaway nights at the ballpark, 24 or 25 fireworks dates, it's very, very rare when there's not something happening unique or a giveaway at the ballpark. And we have such great corporate partnerships that allows for that. I mentioned some of the events we have coming up this summer with special events among Banana Ball and Cosmic. I didn't even mention Illumination, which is our Winter Lights Festival.
It's fantastic.
Which has been a huge success. So for us to not just operate, 6 months of the year, but we really operate, 12 months of the year with events and activities and parties, you name it. So that's already, we're deep in planning mode for 2026 Illumination. There are some new things at the ballpark this year besides the new menu items. The first and foremost is our Keystone Cabanas. The cabanas sit 15 people each. It includes food and beverage, and they sit right in our outfield lawn area. These are VIP areas with your own couch, TV, seating area, and what I think is cool, your own fire pit, which I think is awesome. So you have your own cabana at the ballpark to watch the game. And let me tell you, last weekend when the temperatures got down to 42 degrees for a start on a Saturday night, those fire pits were burning.
Yes, absolutely.
Let's see what else is new. One of the concession stands, we've transitioned to a Amazon Just Walk Out stand, and what that means is fans will basically dip their credit card or tap their phone at the entrance, walk into the store, take anything they want. If it's candy, popcorn, peanuts, hamburger, hot dog, beverages, take whatever they want and just walk out. And what that's led to here in its history is about 3.5 to 4 times the speed of lines. And
Yeah.
we're making an effort. The only thing we hear sometimes is because we serve all of our food fresh and made to order, is the lines can get backed up. And so this will be a huge step in eliminating the lines at the ballpark. So you
Awesome.
literally walk in, grab your food, walk out, and it's still the same fresh, made to order food that people like.
Awesome. Awesome. Great job, my friend. And it was so nice talking to you. Always love having you on the podcast. Again, folks, Kurt Landis, President and CEO of the Lehigh Valley IronPigs. You know, I love having you on, buddy. Come back and join us. I'd love to talk more IronPigs with you, talk more about what's going on at the stadium.
I'd be hog wild to return, Jeff.